you're focused. You're focused on sugar here, you know? I love it. It's a great day to play, everybody! Welcome on into the channel, yeah. Whether it's your first time here or you are rejoining us, thank you so much for being here with us today. You are loved, you are appreciated, you are always welcome here in this channel, and you are enough. I read the comments. So there's a lot of people that were like, you should have done this one. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it too. Before we lay this to bed to rest, we are going to do the DAECHWITA meaning explained by Bookish theories as well. And at some point here in the near future, I probably will also do, I know that he also did an interview, Suga did, where he talked about this himself. So we'll probably end up doing that. I feel like this video really deserves it. There's so much going on here. There's so much in terms of just a story of growth, and I think that this one has a lot more. I think this one has a lot more to unpack than a lot of them that we normally do. And when we do get into a lot of these, that you know that we do have to unpack them, like the BU stuff and everything that we do generally go and watch behind the scenes footage and explanations and things like that. So I hope that you guys are enjoying this journey. Please, please, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when our videos come out, you know when our live streams happen. You can, of course, check out any of our exclusive BTS content that we're doing on Patreon right now. Right now, it's Run BTS and American Hustle Life. We're going to move on to Bon Voyage after American Hustle Life is done, but you're going to get at least 3 videos a week out on there as well. It's a lot of fun, just a nice, tight-knit community, and it's a great way to support me if you guys choose to do so. But without further ado, let's do this.
Hello, and welcome back to Bookish Theories.
Okay, real quick. They weren't the right translations. We'll turn them off.
Hello, and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video, we'd like to talk about Agust's DAECHWITA, focusing on a little breakdown and analysis of both the lyrics and the visual masterpiece they passed as a music video. DAECHWITA is a song that, much like the mixtape as a whole, reflects on Yoongi, Suga, and Agust's current mindset and successes, as well as his artistic growth from 2016 to...
Hold on, I don't know if she's going to read this or not. What do you hope listeners take away from your overall experience of the mixtape? This is how I've lived since August 16, 2016. If the previous mixtape focused on telling the past, the new one is about the present. Okay.
Present day. The title of the song literally translates into great blowing and hitting, and it refers to a specific genre of traditional Korean military music which involves wind and percussion instruments. This musical genre is usually performed by the army while marching in parade for the king. So you know what you have to do the next time that you listen to this song. But in the instrumentals, these traditional sounds are mixed together with modern sounds that belong to both hip-hop and trap. And as it turns out, this fusion of tradition and modernity is also reflected in the music video, which shows us an epic confrontation between the ruthless King Min and the gang boss Agust D. At the beginning, the video opens...
Yeah, something that I never really picked up on before, because this video has so much to unpack in it, and there was so much going on. He literally brought a gun to a knife fight. just small little tidbits.
Ruthless King Min and the gang boss Agust D. At the beginning, the video opens with King Yoongi sitting on his FINIX throne and then proceeding to admire the decapitated bodies of his enemies laid out in the courtyard. Now, if you are a fan of K-dramas, you probably recognize the palace here, because the video was shot at Daejagung Park, a very popular filming location that was featured in a lot of historical dramas throughout the years. The styling for this setting was inspired by a mix of several Korean periods, but one of the major influences was definitely the Joseon dynasty, which, as we'll see in a second, is a major inspiration for the entire plot of the video. After being introduced to the king, the narrative then moves from the palace to the market, where we see a cameo of Jin and Jungkook picking a fight.
I totally miss this. Well, here's the thing. JK looks a little like, he definitely looks like himself, but Like literally Jin with the beard and the hat on, like that one was really hard, and there's just so much. And you're also like you're focused on Suga here, you know. I love that.
From the palace to the market, where we see a cameo of Jin and Jungkook picking a fight with each other, and we meet the character of the boss, which is the source of the king's future downfall and the leader of the coup that will take place later on. Right off the bat, the difference between these two characters is pretty evident. One is a king, the other a commoner. The first fights for himself, the second fights for the people. But what makes it even better is the way both the song and the video deal with the contrast between past and present. You see, in the lyrics, Agust introduces himself as a king born as a slave. Now he wears a crown and flies on private jets, but this doesn't mean that he forgot where he came from, because as a matter of fact, he really didn't. He was born in a ditch but rose up to be a dragon, and he still remembers the days that led him to this point, which is the reason why he lives the way that he does and knows that he has quite a lot to lose. Now, judging by the lyrics alone, you would think that King Yoongi represents his present, while Agust is a symbol of his past. But in the video, the king is associated with tradition, while the boss is driving a car in the middle of the palace. And this is important because, much like the scar on his face suggests, this contradiction implies that Yoongi is both of these people at the same time.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's so interesting because they have this kind of taking down the system thing in a lot of their songs. Obviously that was a lot of their earlier tracks, was really kind of like taking on the establishment. So you could even kind of see this as like as, you know, he's the commoner, like the commoner taking on the establishment of like the Korean government at the time, and like how hard it was for them to get out of a box. Like there's so many interpretations to the way that this could be, but And here's the better thing about this, guys. There's so much thought that goes into this that it even allows us to be open to interpretation, right? Like that's the crazy thing that they do in these MVs, is there's so much thought that goes behind these lyrics and the MVs. It's just insane to me.
On the one hand, he is a ruthless king to his enemies, who challenges the norm and is feared because of that. But on the other, he's still the voice of the people, the boss of a movement that is meant to break tradition with a modern perspective that represents those that support him. In both the song and the music video, this duality is also conveyed with a lot of cultural and historical references. The line "born as a slave but now a king," for instance, is a direct reference to the movie Masquerade, which is a period drama about King Gwanghae, who finds a double among the common people in order to protect himself from the constant threat of assassination. The events that we see in the video seem to be heavily inspired by the movie, but as it turns out, the references to this king go a lot deeper than that, because in the lyrics, Agust compares his flow to the mad tiger Gwanghae. You see, Gwanghae was the 15th king of the Joseon dynasty, and even if modern scholars have been redeeming his name by praising his wisdom and strength, throughout history he was known to be a very violent and ruthless tyrant. Since he was the son of a concubine, Gwanghae was not the original successor to the throne, but because of his leadership skills and political abilities, he was appointed as crown prince and later on as the official successor instead of his older legitimate brother. Despite he defended his country even after the king ran away, his reputation during his rule was heavily affected by rumors that historians are now considering mostly false. And much like what we see in the video, his reign ended with a coup that happened overnight. Now, even judging by this little summary I just gave you, it's easy to see why Yoongi chose this character in the first place. Much like him, Gwanghae was not meant to be king but became one because of his talents. His reputation was consistently tainted by his enemies, and even if he defended his country, he was considered a tyrant that didn't deserve recognition. In the video, Agust is now playing the tyrant that his haters make him out to be. They wanted a mad king and now they got it. And he's not messing around this time because he's coming straight for their heads. Even if they call him a pup, he's nothing like them, and he doesn't even need to flex to prove it because his enemy's pathetic behavior speaks for itself. This is because, much like he anticipated back in Give It To Me, he cannot live like a dog because he was born as a tiger. Now, the tiger is a very important symbol here because in Korean culture, it is an animal that represents courage and pride while still conveying a sense of superiority that inspires fear and respect. The tiger is a noble animal that has nothing to share with the dogs that bark for attention. They're just below him, so without any hesitation, he just kills them all. What's interesting here is that Yoongi is not saying that his success made him a tiger, but that he was born as a tiger, meaning that in comparison to his enemies, he's not superior because he's famous, he's superior because that's the way that it is. Now he may be king and he might be a dragon, but he was always a tiger, so while he shoves his past in a rice chest, he knows that he's standing on what it is. Now, these lines here are very interesting because the rice chest is a reference to the story of Crown Prince Sado of the Joseon dynasty, who was executed by his own father and died of starvation inside of a rice chest.
It's really interesting, that I was born a tiger thing. I think someone would maybe interpret that as raw talent, but I think that it goes more into perseverance than raw talent, because doesn't matter how much talent you have if you don't also put in the work, that talent goes to waste. And the amount of work that they've all put in to get to where they are is so extreme that really, really cool representation of that meaning though. I like that.
Who was executed by his own father and died of starvation inside of a rice chest. According to the story, Sado was put to death because he tried to kill the son of an official. But since according to the law the body of a royal could not be defiled, the king had to get creative and find a way to kill his son while keeping his body intact.
So
the solution that he found was to tie him with a rope and seal him inside of a rice chest for 7 days. And even if this sounds like a horrible act, this method of execution actually spared the life of the prince's family and saved his legacy. Now, the fact that Yoongi is a king and is choosing to seal his past in a rice chest implies that he's finding an alternative way to deal with the struggles that doesn't involve a complete erasure. He knows that the past made him the person he is today, and he knows that he needs to acknowledge that in order to maintain his roles. But he's choosing to deal with his struggles privately, saving what needs to be saved and killing what needs to be killed. To a certain extent, we can say that this idea is also loosely portrayed in the video itself, because much like Prince Sado, Agust D is taken prisoner and tied with a rope. Now, Agust D here is the boss of the story, the man of the people and the past that is reclaiming his place in the present. He's the one who was there since day one and the part of him that people can relate to the most, because all the clothes, the money and the goals the king has in the present are the result of the dreams that the boss had in the past. It's thanks to him and his 6 gang members that revenues go up and Bank PD dances in his studio. He's a genius that became a king because he realized that time is more valuable than money. But to his people, he's not a tyrant that lost touch with reality. He is a guide that can lead them to revolution. This idea is perfectly conveyed in the video because when Agust D is about to be killed, the executioner himself is the one who sets him free. Now, this part is very interesting because this scene was actually foreshadowed since the very beginning. If you look closely, the 2 executioners that we see in this scene right here are played by the same actors that play the butchers at the market.
That's really cool. I like that. This is definitely a very, very interesting take on this. I'm glad that you guys told me to watch both of these because this is such a different take.
And this is not a coincidence because, as a matter of fact, they are the very same people. You see, these characters are a close reference to the Baekjang, who were the Untouchables of Korean society and were forced to be butchers and executioners because they were activities that were deemed despicable by society as a whole. Now, the fact that Agust D is being helped by one of the Untouchables implies that his message is able to resonate with people that come from all walks of life. No matter who you are or where you come from, no matter how much people hate you or disrespect you, Agust D will be your voice and he will be your fighter. But once again, this reference goes even deeper than that, because if you look closely, Yoongi is wearing a necklace that looks exactly like the mask that is used to represent the Baekjang in theater. This implies that not only he leads the Untouchables, but that he identifies himself with them, meaning...
See, and this is where some of this, because you know, I didn't grow up, you know, in Korea, and I don't really know Korean culture that well, and a lot of the references, like, this is where this stuff gets really, really cool, because I would never be able to tie those pieces together otherwise. Thank you all. Oh, that's so cool. The small little pieces that really just make these things so amazing and these videos so amazing. Like, they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that. They chose to do that, right? Like, that was very purposeful. So cool.
He leads the Untouchables, but that he identifies himself with them, meaning that even after all he has accomplished, he is still the untouchable of the system that he rules and that still wants to destroy him. If in Interlude Shadow he wanted to be king, and in Tony Montana he felt like Scarface, now he is the king and he is the boss. But people still come for his neck no matter what he does. This, however, does not change the fact that he is at the top. But this kind of power also implies a reality check, because by realizing that he cannot get any higher, Yoongi also accepts the fact that now it's time to look down and put his feet on the ground. Now, these lines here are very similar to the lyrics that we can find in Interlude Shadow, Black Swan, and on. And to a certain extent, this
there's a lot of people who have been sending me stuff, I believe for like Dang and like another one of the songs. I haven't gotten to Black Swan yet. I haven't gotten to Dang yet. So like I'm not really ready to watch some of those like performances and stuff like that. I haven't seen Interlude Shadow. Like, there's so many things that we still have to go. Like, it's crazy to think that we've done well over 100 videos by this point between YouTube and Patreon. And like, we're just barely scratching the surface, because I really do try to take the time to learn about like what's happening with the songs, what's happening with the groups, what's happening with the members as like the timeline goes on. So we're going to get to all this at some point. I promise you, we just keep going. I do a BTS video every single day. So we're going to get to it all. It just is going to take a little bit, but be patient. We're going to get to all of these. I promise.
And find in Interlude Shadow, Black Swan, and on. And to a certain extent, this implies that the final confrontation between the king and the boss can be compared to the confrontation between the persona and the shadow. You see, for Yoongi not to become the tyrant that people make him out to be, he needs to stand his ground and look at himself in the face. Even if he's the king and he is the boss, he also understands that there is a limit to his greed, and in order not to overstep it, he has to kill the tyrant by wearing the mask of the untouchable. In a way, this is the part of him that the king might have hidden inside the rice chest. That side, that is, that represents the essence of his artistry and that is meant to give a voice to the voiceless. When you are at the top, it's easy to forget why you started in the first place, but Jung is not allowing himself to forget. So at the end of the video, Agust D shoots the tyrant by using an army revolver. This implies not only that you are the greatest weapon he has against his enemies, but also that you are the medium through which he keeps himself in check.
That's really cool. That's really cool. With the gun. Huh. You definitely have to know something about guns as well to be able to know that that's what that is, but that's really cool.
Against his enemies, but also that you are the medium through which he keeps himself in check. You destroy his haters and you keep him grounded in reality. So next time you feel bad about yourself, stream D2 and give yourself a break. So that's it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please think about liking and subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Very cool. I'm so happy that we did that to get a different perspective. Yeah, so the DK one really, it seemed like focused a lot more on like the historical references, which is still good, and there was historical references in here. But the untouchable thing, the theories of them kind of being, instead of it just being like taking down the person, of being the same and keeping yourself grounded, keeping that part down, really, really cool. Army coming in, I mean, definitely that the use of that gun, definitely purposeful, right? So, very cool. Thank you, guys. I think next we need to do the actual interview. I want to hear what he has to say about it. And then we're going to keep moving on. We got a lot more of the BU stuff coming up ahead, and you guys can check out some of that already if you want. Again, you can check us out on Patreon for BTS exclusive content. If you want to join us there, you can join us in Discord. A bunch of places. We do live streams, all kinds of fun stuff. Our new single's out right now. Join in. Come on. And you can check out our logs if you want. We do daily logs. I just brought Lucas into our daily logs as well. So a lot of good stuff. You guys get to see a lot of behind the scenes. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If nobody told you that they love you today, don't forget, I love you. You are appreciated. You are always welcome here in this channel, and you are enough. And last, but certainly not least, it was a great day to play. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
And it's time to change.